Welcome to today's chart review. Today was a Monday and we did not have any red folder news, so that could have been the reason why we got the action that we did in the PM session. And I also want to go over why that possibly did happen as well. But today was a Monday with no red folder news at all, and I'm gonna go in and we're gonna replay this, and that's what I really want to do. I want to do that from now on, just replay the session and kind of see like where we're at. And I'm gonna have this up for a second because we had we did have, sorry, spoiler, excuse me, we did have seek and destroy today, which that is when we have, we have Asia consolidation, followed by or we have Asia high and low, followed by us taking Asia high and low in London, and then in New York we take a London high. We could expect to us to possibly take London low, and that's kind of what I want to go over today. And I want to see the mistakes that we made, what we could have done better, or what I could have done better mainly, and then what we can do better in the future. And we're gonna just get right into it. So overall bias. Okay, if we look at NQ, it's a lot less clear. We have this huge price leg to the downside, and like the weeks prior, I was bullish. I want to see us take this high. Let me see if it takes this high. The fact that we still haven't taken this high and we have big displacement lower tells me that we're bearish right now and we want to sell all the way down to this low. Like, me seeing these stacked highs isn't really that of a significance, because if we look at ES, here, let's look at Big Poppy. We have an SSG highs, and then we're displacing lower. We're expecting bearish imbalances, and we're having a huge sell-off lower. We're tracing back where are we retracing back to? OTE of this range, OTE of this price leg, OTE of this price leg, for us to then probably reject lower. So I'm pretty bearish at this moment. I know that we have no red folders news today, Monday, and today's a Monday. So with that being said, what did we have? We had sloppier consolidative action. Like, let's look at the 1 hour. Let's look at the 1 hour of today's price action. Let's look at 1 hour. We pretty much went absolutely nowhere. We just consolidated within this range, and that's kind of what seek and destroy is. It's a New York, or it's an Asia consolidation, or basically followed by a London consolidation, followed by a bigger, higher time frame consolidation. And our goal, or my goal, is when I'm looking at this, I want to be finding us possibly coming back down to this London low. So we take it in the New York, and then I want to see us possibly come down. I'm pretty bearish, but I want to see us manipulate at this high. This high is really my main draw on liquidity, because if we look at this, it looks a little bit easier on ES. This looks like a market maker buy model. We have come back down into this 4 hour imbalance, and look at the sweep of lows. This is what I'm saying. Notice how well we sweep this low. We sweep this low in this 4 hour imbalance. So I am pretty bullish until we take this high. I want to see us take this high and then have a higher time frame turtle soup. So what I mean by that is I want us to take this high and then sell off lower. Notice how we have these generated lows down here, and then we have clear sell side below us. We have these stacked lows here. So I am bullish until we take this high. I want to see us come back down. And we had seek and destroy today, so this still could play out in the future, this higher time frame turtle soup. So that's what I'm going to be looking at in the future, but I'm not really going to get too much into that. So right now, if you look on the 15-minute, we have Asia high and low, London high and low. So we've now taken London high at around market open. It's 9:15 at this time. I want the draw to be higher. I want to see us possibly come up and take this high. We know at 9:30 we're likely going to have that well, that's when our volatility injection is going to be. So let's see. Ooh, that kind of went way too fast, but there was basically a sell-off. We sold all the way off, and we took London low here. I don't really see an opportunity to short this, to finish this seek and destroy. It kind of just was unlucky. We kind of had just fast sell-off. I would have liked us to come all the way up to this high and then possibly finish this seek and destroy in the PM session like we did on Thursday of last week. But that wasn't the case. We ended up just selling off very quick, very fast to this low. There wasn't really much opportunity. Okay, so I'm looking at that. We have now completed seek and destroy. Anytime that we have completed seek and destroy, I know it's going to be less probable. Because we look on the higher time frame, what is seek and destroy pretty much defining? It's defining a higher time frame consolidation. And that's pretty much what we did today. But there still are trades within here. There's still all trades that we can trade within this. There's still all times and areas in which we can look for trades. So we come back up. We're rejecting off of OTE. I'm pretty bearish, but we now have taken London low. And this is now when I'm starting to maybe look to where we possibly could have a long. We possibly could come up in long here. And this kind of was the thing. Okay, so we had A plus setup in my opinion, but the reason why it was an A plus plus is because we just finished Seek and Destroy. So anything after that is just a little bit lower probability. But I still think this setup was very clean. I'm about to go over it. So I actually want to replay on ES now. I don't really need to look at NQ because the setup was more on ES. So we've now swept this low and swept. We have truly swept this. Look at this sweep. A sweep is when we have like this huge wick. So that's a clear sweep in my opinion. In my eyes, that's a clear sweep. Okay. So, okay, around 9. Okay, we come back down. And now we come down, and on ES or on NQ, we come down and we sweep this low. We sweep this low. On ES, we are nowhere near this low. We have a bullish SMT here, bullish SMT, and this is also where I was looking at. Look at this chart right now. Buy side of the curve, sell side of the curve. Sell side of the curve, delivering into that 4-hour fair value gap. This is textbook. I'm pretty sure like a 4-hour fair value gap, like there's certain, like I know there's like a photo out there that's like 4-hour fair value gap, and then that's like a 15-minute market maker buy model. I'm pretty sure that's right, yeah. Or like a 5-minute market maker buy model. Okay, and that's exactly what this was. We come back down. We've generated liquidity on the way lower. We now have a swing higher. We now have an SMT. And look at this area. Within this area, we have an inverse fair value gap. We have an order block, and we also have, this is a breaker block. A breaker block is a high, low, higher, high. So this breaker block is also high quality because we take liquidity. We take 2 types of liquidity within it. So this is a high quality breaker. And the breaker really can be from, I had it marked out. It's kind of this whole range here, but we have it marked out, or I have it marked out from this high, this is the whole breaker. A high, low, higher high. And what makes this higher quality is the fact that we sweep liquidity with the breaker. So this is a pretty high quality breaker. I'm looking for us to possibly reject here off the 15-minute. So if I'm looking in an area in which I could expect to see some form of manipulation, some form of rejection on the 15-minute, that's when then I'm able to drop down into time frames like the 1 minute, and that's where I'm able to get the best entry possible. The 1 minute does not mean anything, and the 1 minute should not mean anything unless there's a context around it. So the reason why this trade was so good and why this trade panned out is because we have an inverse fair value gap in line with an order block. Look at this order block. We create a fair value gap, high probability order block. Also paired with this breaker block, we have many things, multiple PD arrays. We have 3 different PD arrays that are holding us up. And notice this candle here, sure as well, still is respecting this fair value gap, breaker block, and order block. Just because we have a wick below here, the wicks do the damage, the bodies tell the narrative. Look at this body of this candle. We're even still kind of respecting this 15-minute imbalance here, this gap that we have here. So, I mean, it's not like picture perfect, but we still are. We have a fair value gap as well. But these 3 PD arrays are what is holding us up. And this is kind of when this is where I went wrong today. So I'm looking at this, and I know, like I'm looking for this. The 15-minute, I have this dialed in. I'm looking for this. And this is where I went wrong. So we now have this 950 macro opening up. This is where I went wrong. Okay, so we have displacement lower, and then I'm thinking like, oh, we could possibly come back down to this low on the 1 minute. Why am I looking for us to come to this low on the 1 minute when the 15-minute is like all that I need to frame a bias? So I'm bullish here, but I want to see us for some reason come to this low first before then going higher. And I failed to recognize the fact that we had this SMT here. This SMT on the 1 minute, once you see this is the turtle soup. This is the turtle soup. I'm pretty sure ICT took this trade. We have original consolidation. This is textbook market maker buy model, which I don't like. I don't like the pictures with market maker buy and sell model because they're never market maker buy models. At least from what I've seen, they never look like the drawings. You guys know what I'm talking about? The drawings that you have, they're never really as elementary as this. Like it never looks like this. It never really does. So it's gonna look something more fast like this original consolidation coming back down, whatever first stage distribution, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure that like I don't really know the name for it, but the first stage distribution, we come back down to on NQ we're coming back down and we're taking sell side here. So this big SMT, look at this big SMT, the SMT on the higher time frame. And then we come back down, we have an internal SMT. The reason why this is such a good trade, it's such an A+ setup, is because we have 3 PD arrays on the 15-minute. Hold this up. A market never looks like schematics, just gives a picture perfect example. Yeah, I would agree. So we're coming back down, holding these PD arrays. We now have an internal SMT. The moment you see this candle, my eyes are up into this buy side we have here. But what makes this a little bit lower quality is the fact that we have finished wrong indicator. We have finished Seek and Destroy, but we haven't finished this on ES. We haven't finished this on ES. So I do like a long here. Hold up. Okay. I do like a long here. And as you can see, we have SMT. We come back. We have that huge candle. This tells me price wants to go higher. Come back down into this fair value gap. This would have been the best entry. We also have this order block fair value gap, change to state of delivery. This is perfect. This was a beautiful setup. I ended up missing out on the setup. So where I was at in this moment is I knew the draw was going to be this high, but for some reason I wanted to see this fair value gap get ran to the upside for us to then head to this high. So I want to see us run this fair value gap, and I wanted to see. I didn't want to enter off of this entry down here. I wanted to possibly catch the second entry for more confirmation, but I guess it's not bad by being picky and by waiting for extra confirmation. But this here, this SMT, this displacement higher, I shouldn't be scared of a 5-minute fair value gap here. And this is kind of where my attention was. I want to see us break above this to then validate that we want to go to this high. This should not really drag me down, because if we have a clear model like this, if we have a clear market maker buy model like this, a 5-minute PD array to the left of us doesn't mean anything, or should not really mean much, if the model is clear. And the fact that this model is clear is because we have SMT here, we have an SMT here, we have everything that we need to see. We have displacement higher, we have an order block for value gap. This is perfect. This is what you want to see. And notice how efficiently price gets delivered. And at this time, we take buy side. I'm looking for a possible second entry here. I want to see us kind of stall and then offer that second stage redistribution or reaccumulation, whatever it's called. I think it's reaccumulation when we're looking for buys. But I want to see that second stage here to possibly catch this. And that just doesn't get offered. We just run straight to buy side. And at this moment, I start to get a little bit of FOMO. I just missed out on a potential trade. And price action was clean. And I missed out on it. But there's no such thing as missing out on a trade. Like, there's always going to be more opportunity. Like, there's no such thing as missing a setup. Anytime you think that you missed a setup, you really don't, because there's always going to be another day within the markets. The markets are not going anywhere. The markets are going to be here the next day. The markets are going to be here the day after that. So we now have this. I'm looking at this right now, and I'm expecting this to be market maker buy model. I want to see this high get met for this to possibly have a dump lower. So I'm looking at this. We have took an internal liquidity, and if we look at NQ at the time, we have taken this high. On ES, we're not near this high, so now we have an SMT at the highs. Again, I don't think that this is a very prominent SMT. I would want to see us possibly take this high, but we do have an SMT here. We also have SMT at the lows holding us up, so I'm kind of just waiting at this point. I don't see much opportunity here. We're going to play this out and kind of see. Look at the 5-minute. Okay, we have displacement lower. At this moment, we're still holding up this 15-minute fair value gap. I want to see We also have a 15-minute inverse here. We also have a 15-minute bullish over here, but I don't like that because we already have ran this, so I don't really like this as much. But we have a 15-minute bullish for value gap here. We have a 15-minute inverse for value gap here. I'm looking for this to possibly be an area which we hold to then come back up and take this high. I think that's a rational thinking. So I'm not really looking for a short here. I'm pretty long bias. I want to see this high be the draw. So we actually ended up selling off here. And I really don't like, there wasn't really a good trade entry. There wasn't really a good entry here provided. We kind of just sold off. And I really don't think that there was a quality setup within here. I'm expecting the draw to kind of be this high. We kind of just end up selling off. That's okay. That's okay. You don't need to catch every single move and fluctuation within the market. And now we have a low here. And this is now when we form another SMT, which SMTs are good, but I've started to become marking out like pretty much every SMT, which is good as well because it shows you possible signs of reversal. But when you base your bias off of SMT, it becomes kind of bad, which I don't like how I'm starting to do a little bit more. But here we have SMT at low. We have a change in state of delivery on the 5-minute. This now becomes your order block. We could possibly look for us to retrace back in equilibrium within this price leg. We now have that 5-minute change in state of delivery, and we now have an SMT at the lows. I'm looking for equilibrium to be met. I don't really love a trade here as well. I'm going to leave up equilibrium because we actually end up coming back in equilibrium. But I'm just looking for equilibrium to be met, possibly. See if there's a potential trade. I don't think anything looks very clean. But this, what is this? What is this, y'all? What is this? This is a market maker buy model. Where's buy side? Okay. This is a market maker buy model. We have equal highs here. Come back down. We have SMT. We have that change of state of delivery. Come back in. We reverse this. Okay, this is what I'm saying. This is what I kind of want to start backtesting a little bit more. And I'm not going to like fully have like a very heavy bias. But from what I've seen, the times we have an SMT and then we have like a change in state of delivery, or if we immediately inverse these fair value gaps with an SMT, most of the time, or what I've seen, we go to equilibrium of the range. So notice how we have an SMT, and this isn't just like a little SMT. This is a more prominent SMT. The fact that we have SMT and then we reverse this fair value gap, we went to equilibrium. So I'm just going to add that to the arsenal as like another example of I've seen it happen. But I have not back tested that. I don't think it's a valid setup. But the fact that we have SMT immediately inverse this, we have equal highs up here. Along here isn't awful. And I don't despise along here. We've now taken sell side. I don't think it's awful, but it's just not my type of trade up to buy side. But it's just again, like not my type of trade. But along here wouldn't be the worst, but I just don't think it's high quality. But we do have that SMT. SMTs tell us when we possibly like to reverse. So I'm looking at, hey, maybe we could possibly reject here. We have a 15-minute fair value gap here. Let's look at the 1 minute, 15-minute fair value gap. Let's see what happens. Come back up into that 15-minute fair value gap. We have now retraced to OTE of this range now. OTE of this range here, and I actually ended up taking a trade. I did go over it, but I kind of want to go over this PA because this PA is the reason why I shouldn't even be looking to trade this, and I don't think that it's very necessary to trade this is because okay, we've had seek and destroy played out. We've had huge run. We've had a run to the upside. Now we have had a run to the downside. We now have SMT, and notice here we have an SMT at the highs. We also have an SMT at the lows here, and then we have SMT at the lows here. So we have like SMTs everywhere. So when we have SMTs at the highs and at the lows of prominent areas, I shouldn't even be looking to trade this. I shouldn't even be looking to trade this. Like, just wait for tomorrow. There's always going to be another day within the market. Tomorrow's going to be open at the same time. The market's going to be open at the same time. So the fact that we have SMT, like, nothing's very confident here. But I did end up taking a stab short. I took a smaller loss. I'm not sad about this. But me missing out on the A plus setup, the thing that I was looking for, the exact thing that I was looking at, I missed out on it. In quotations, I missed out on it. I start to second guessing myself a little bit here. And this one, PA, just look at this on the 15 minute. Look at this on the 15 minute. As a trader, do you want to trade this? If we look at the 15 minute in hindsight, because that's the beauty of these trading sessions, we can look at these in hindsight. Do we want to be trading action like this? No, we don't. There's probably not going to be much setups. We're going to get faked out. We're going to get chopped in. We're going to have a trade and it's end up going to like be chopping around. We're going to be in trades for longer than we should be. We're going to have maybe stress that we shouldn't be dealing with, and price just isn't going to efficiently deliver to our TP or our stop loss in areas like this. Like, as a trader, this is what we want to avoid, choppy consolidative action like this. And why do you think this happened? And from what I think is because Seek and Destroy has finished. We now have an SMT at the highs. We now have an SMT at the lows. We have another SMT at the lows. We're not really aligning here. So anything after this is just kind of lower probability. So we come back up into this 15-minute imbalance on NQ. We've now retraced into equilibrium of just this recent price leg. On ES, we have now retraced into OTE of that range. Now this is kind of OTE here, but I don't love anything as well. So I'm dropping down. We're looking at maybe the 5-minute now. We come back up into this 15-minute imbalance. I drop to the 1-minute. And I think anything here, I took a trade here. I took a trade off this fair value gap, targeting this low down here. This low down here. I ended up getting stopped out on this move up. But I think anything here is kind of a little bit early, but I was targeting this low. So I think that trades here, we don't really have solid displacement through a low. This maybe could be decent to reprice here, but this is just chop. This is just chop. Price is just moving back and forth. Like, we don't need to move anywhere. Maybe what could have been solid here is the fact that, wait, am I on the 1 minute? Okay, I need to find where I'm at. Okay, we end up having an SMT here. Oh, I'm still in replay on ES. That makes sense. I was like, what? Okay. This is where we don't form it yet. Okay, come back down. We're in that 15-minute imbalance. Okay, we form an SMT here. We form an SMT, and then we pump here. So I think this SMT was what made us pump. What made us pump to the upside. And we end up taking buy side here. This could have been a okay trade, but I was short here. We come back down. We tap equilibrium. We have an SMT, and then we pump to buy side. This could have been a bad trade, but we also have this 5-minute order block here, which isn't bad. 5-minute order block. Is there a 15-minute imbalance? Okay, this honestly, actually, looking back on this actually looks like an okay long. But I don't like how there are going to be times like this. Turtle soups are going to be the best trades in consolidative action. Consolidative markets are when you're going to get turtle soups. Yo, what's good, Charles? Hope you had a good day. Yeah, I had a great day. How about you, bro? So we come back down. We have a turtle soup. We immediately get that displacement higher. Right as soon as we run this high, we could expect to see us run to this high. We could expect to run to this high. And that's, I think, what we did. I think we put in equal highs, and then we come back up, take the highs here. Along here wouldn't be bad. Looking back at this, we have this 5-minute order block. We have a 15-minute fair value gap. This wouldn't be a bad long in my opinion, but I was just on the wrong side. I was looking to short this, but we have SMT at the low here. We have SMT at the low here. We now have an SMT at the low here, and then what does price do? We reverse, and that looking back, SMT at low, 5-minute order block, 15-minute fair value gap. That ended up being a good solid trade. Other than that, it's kind of just chop. Okay, and if we look at NQ at the time, we now have generated sell side, so we have this leg lower, and now we're within this 15-minute fair value gap, rejecting another time, and then rejecting another time. Like, this is just choppy action. We do not want to trade this at all. We do not want to trade this at all. Do you use the DXY? DXY. Okay, I am going to start doing that because today, the reason why a long also would have been higher quality is because if we look at DXY at the time, which I'm going to start using DXY. DXY is so bearish right now. DXY, this is so bearish. I expect the draw to possibly be these lows. So, DXY just looks so bearish. And the fact that I was long here, or I was short here while DXY was bearish, possibly could have been something, but I'm going to start looking at DXY. My main mentor told me to like not look at DXY because you kind of get chopped, but I'm gonna start doing it and see if it helps me because, like, looking at it here, it would have prevented me from possibly going short here. I'm telling you, bro, it helped me trade so much. All right, but I'm gonna look into that. I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna start looking at DXY. I'll keep you guys updated on how that goes, but the fact that DXY is bearish here tells me that we should be potentially looking for longs, but I think that over analyzing it could also hurt you because there are gonna be times when it's not correlating it. But I feel like it does more better than good. Like at the end of the day, it does you more better than good to sit out of a trade. Like it does you more better than good to like see it happen. Okay. So say hypothetically, say you see a good trade, you see a trade that you could possibly get into, and you just don't take it. You just don't take it. So now you have seen that happen. So you've seen that trade happen. So now you can sit back, you can journal that trade, and that just gets put in your arsenal to where you have seen it happen. Okay, you've journaled it. Now going into the next day, you don't lose anything. You just sat on the sidelines. And sometimes sitting on the sidelines is better than forcing or rushing a trade that you shouldn't have been in. And yeah, I'm gonna start looking at DXY. I'm not gonna be like overly biased. Like, oh, the 1 minute on DXY is gonna appear. I'm gonna use the SMT here. No, I'm just going to see like overall bias, overall narrative, and I'm going to I'm gonna start doing that, Cody. But yeah, I really saw one high quality opportunity within the AM on ES. It looked a little bit cleaner on ES in my opinion, but ICT himself actually ended up taking the trade. ICT himself actually posted a trade execution, which I'm not, which honestly feels good in my analysis to where I'm looking at similar things to ICT. So that's obviously steps in the right direction. I know he is like tape reading tomorrow, which someone said that he's live streaming tomorrow. I don't know. I might honestly watch it, but I still don't know. I still like live streaming, and even though he's live streaming, I could possibly potentially just go back and then rewatch it, which I think that's what I'm gonna do. I'm still gonna be streaming tomorrow, and then I'll just look back on ICT stream and I'll just see like possibly things that I missed. But your day was pretty chill. Nice. Yeah, my day was pretty chill. I went for a run and dude, I did not want to run at all. But that's enough with the chart review. I really don't have much else. Today was pretty good PA in the AM session, and tomorrow we don't have any red folder news tomorrow. Oh yeah, my bias going into tomorrow. I want to go over that. So my bias going into tomorrow. On the higher time frames, I'm bearish, but I would like to see this internal market maker buy model on the 15-minute complete possibly on ES, and then us to possibly take this high and then sell lower. But obviously I'm bearish. I would like to see maybe some displacement lower, but if we come back up and if we take this high on NQ or on ES, I won't freak out and I will possibly be short. But right now I'm bearish. I don't think there's any reason to be bullish. If we look on the only reason to be bullish, is the fact that we have these stacked equal highs on NQ, but I really don't think price wants to go back up there. Look at this displacement leg lower. Look at this displacement leg lower. I think that we could possibly possibly form an SMT at these highs and then sell off lower. So I'm looking going into tomorrow. I'm looking for a possible manipulation at this high to then sell off lower. If we look on NQ, we kind of have stacked on NFP. We have stacked lows down here, and we also have clear sell side below us. I am excited. I think that this week we will have good quality setups. We have CPI and PPI, which kind of sucks because CPI and PPI are big news drivers, and they do make big moves within the market. So maybe possibly looking for sweeps, but I feel like maybe the moves might happen during CPI and PPI, which isn't necessarily bad, but overall I am pretty bearish. I want to see us start to reject here. This is an area in which I could expect to see us reject. We have this 4-hour breaker. It's not the cleanest breaker, but we have a breaker here. We have a low, high, lower, low. We have took an internal liquidity. So this is a breaker. I want to see us come up, take a high here, and then possibly reject lower. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. I think maybe like Tuesday, Wednesday, we can put in the high. And then Thursday, Friday, I think that we really will start to like sell off, and we will get clean. I think that we might get a good high-quality setup for the rest of the week. Honestly, that's what I'm expecting, but I'm not gonna be that's what I'm looking at, but I'm not gonna be expecting it, because the times when you expect a high quality setup, if that doesn't happen, you're likely gonna overreact. But that's all I really have for today's session. If you guys like, I encourage you guys to come on here and like, does anyone want to go over price action in their opinion? Maybe saw it a little bit different. If you do, join Discord right now and you could or like request to speak. But if not, it's cool. Like, in the future, I would love to have people on here and talk as well on what they saw and improvements. I would love to have speakers on here and just see us for us to improve. Like, this is my vision with these. Obviously, I'm not expecting much now, but as I become better, I'll start to gain more recognition, and I feel like we will also continue to grow, and I feel like it'd be awesome. But yeah, that's all I really have. I will catch you guys tomorrow. I will probably be live tomorrow, but ICT is live streaming, so if you guys want to watch that, I would recommend it. But I will probably just live stream and then look back over on ICT, and then like possibly if ICT is long, I could be looking at it. But I'll probably go back over, and then that'll be another like thing that I can look back over on. But anyways, that's all I have. Hopefully you all have a good rest of your day and good rest.